Freedom is everything, and love is all the rest. That's what my teacher and mentor, Dr. Richard Bandler, says so often in his seminars. And I agree with him. My name is Hannu Pirila, and I'm the author of Your Own Blue Ocean. Now, what do we mean about this freedom? I mean, if you're not in prison, aren't you free? Or, in this Western societies at least, aren't we free? Well, in a way, yes, but then again, no. So, what do we mean about this freedom? What sort of freedom are we talking about here? I think Viktor Frankl said it quite nicely in his book Man's Search for Meaning. He says that it is this spiritual freedom which cannot be taken away that makes life meaningful and purposeful. So we're talking about sort of like a spiritual freedom. It's not all that we're going to be talking about, but that's one thing really. And it's something that is inside of you. And it doesn't matter if you are imprisoned or not. Like Viktor Frankl, he was the survival of the Holocaust, spending time, many years in these concentration camps. And even when he was imprisoned, he felt free. So what is this? What kind of freedom is it? It is sort of like internal freedom. Something that Moshe Feldenkrais writes about in his book The Master Moves. He says that the truly important learning is to be able to do the thing you already know in another way. And the more ways you have to do the things you know, the freer is your choice. And the freer is your choice, the more you're a human being. So it's about having choices all the time that you can choose from. We are in so many ways set in our ways of doing things, of thinking things and doing things, that we don't really feel like we have a choice. If you think about your day and all those routines you have, and a lot of those routines are good, I don't mean, make no mistake about that. But if we are day in and day out so set in our ways of doing things and thinking about things in the same way, that is not the freedom that we're talking about. We are talking about this kind of freedom, really, that allows you to always, if necessary especially, but always to have different ways of thinking and doing things. Like Moshe Feldenkrais says that, to be able to do the thing you already know. You already know how to make your breakfast. You already know how to, put on clothes. Just simple examples. But to have the freedom to do those things differently, that's the real freedom. For example, I don't know, if you put your pants on in the morning, which leg do you put first? The left or your right leg into the pants? Like my routine was to put the leg first. So I consciously taught myself to put the right leg first. That's a very simple thing, but it feels really awkward in the beginning. But that's sort of like a freedom to have. You always have a choice, basically, how to do things, how to respond, how to think. And Moshe Feldenkrais, he goes on to say that without free choice, we have no human dignity. That's a pretty strong statement. So the question then comes that, How? How do we create that kind of freedom? How do we create the freedom to think differently, to do things differently, to behave and act differently? How do you do that? Well, there are a lot of ways of doing that. There are a lot of techniques in neuro-linguistic programming, NLP, that will help you to really create that freedom to yourself. A lot of those techniques really work better if you have somebody to coach you through them. However, I have created sort of like a mini program, mini series of 3 techniques that I think are pretty easy to use yourself, given the instructions. So I would like to introduce you to these techniques that will teach you to have more freedom in your thoughts and behaviors and actions. How's that? So the way for you to get this mini program, these videos, is to give your email address and first name on the right side of this video, and I will send them to you. Think about that. How would it feel like if you had that freedom? If you had that freedom of choice in practically everything you do in your life? What kind of difference would it make in your life? In what all kinds of situations would that be beneficial for you? If you think about your, let's say like your reactions, you always react in a certain way in certain situations. What if you had a choice? Would that give you better results in life? I bet it would. In many, many situations. So go ahead, give your information, get my mini program, and see what kind of effect that will have on your thinking and doing on things. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful, and be well.